यशोमती नंदन ब्रजवरनागर गोकुला रंजन कान यशोमती राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवरो ठाकुर हरिदास ठाकुर हरिदास ठाकुर हरिदास ठाकुर हरिदास हरिदास ठाकुर हरिदास। और वैष्णव ठाकुर की जय। श्रीमती विज्ञान भारती गोसाई महाराज की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की। दुनिया
Okay, no problem. Who offering you? Me, but mantra?
You.
Acha. Krishna. On cup water. Bolo.
Holy Sarvabhauma Shri Rupa a deep abyss, some kind of deep separation in his absence. And as if ignorant Bharati Maharaj manifested and didn't want to take anything from us, didn't want to take our hearts or anything, just wanted to give some nourishment, some food for the, I would say, the orphans, the feeling of being bereft. He wanted to give us some nourishment, some comfort, in the form of letting that was familiar, even though maybe he did not speak like he used to speak. But to those who had had a foundation of our Srila Gurudev's teachings, he spoke in a way that we were also able to digest. He might not have spoke like that previously, but he adjusted to accommodate the kind of nourishment we were receiving. Also, today is the anniversary of the disappearance of Srila Haridas Thakur, whom Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu referred to as Nam Acharya, the Acharya of chanting the holy names of the Lord, because he was doing practically the impossible, chanting a minimum of 3 lakhs of Harinam every single day. Today I read a little note that our Srila Prabhupada wrote one letter to one devotee explaining what 3 lakhs is. And he did the math and it came to somewhere around 175 rounds every single day. And because of that, it is almost impossible. Except for these days. Anyone and their mother and brother can chant 5 or 10 lakhs a day in 2 hours. But Namacharya Haridas Thakur could chant maybe 3 lakhs in 22 and a half hours. So, on this day, we will be endeavoring to glorify both of these divine and transcendental personalities, Namacharya Haridas Thakur and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. And so we have some of the disciples of Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and also all of us here have been touched by his Harikatha, by his mercy, and by his Shiksha. And so between the Shiksha disciples and the Diksha disciples, who are also his Shiksha disciples, hopefully all of us will be able to share something of how he impacted our hearts. Also something about Srila Haridas Thakur, how he is still impacting our hearts. And I'm requesting that we try to keep the subject matter fixed on these 2 personalities, their glories, their activities, and those things that are actually quite pertinent for us. It is important. Our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, made a strong endeavor to, I'm going to use the word train, his disciples how to speak about the mahima of any personality, the greatness. This means their nama, rupa, charita, adi. Their name, their form, their qualities, their pastimes. And Srila Gurudev also said that glorifying any Vaishnava, we should glorify them in terms of their service and dedication to their Gurudev. So not just the external accomplishments, but also their internal sadhana and bhajan, all of it together, but focusing on those divine personalities. So, I would like to first request Vrindavan Vilasini Didi. Please raise your hand if you have received Diksha or Harinam from Srila Bhakti Bharati Goswami Maharaj. And this doesn't mean just when you're sitting in the crowd that you heard him chant Harinam, because then we've all received Harinam from him. And he's also helping us move forward on the path of Divyam Gyanam, which is Diksha, through his Harikatha. Who has received initiation here from Srila Bhakti Bharati Maharaj? Please raise your hand. Okay, great. So, we've all received Shiksha and Harinam from Srila Bhakti Bharati Goswami Maharaj. So, now I would like to request Vrindavan Vilasini Didi to please come forward and offer your Shraddha Pushpanjali in the dust of their lotus feet. Jai. Vichitra Chitra Sancharach. There you go. Don't move it far away. This mic doesn't stretch.
Oh, I
That's
see.
why it's
Oh,
here.
sorry. Sorry.
It's not like you would know that. Oh my god. This is broke. Oh, there's a microphone. Sorry. I might have turned it off just now. No, it's still on. Okay. No, it's okay.
It's right on my nose.
It's gonna sink. See, it went down. I just don't want to do it.
A
right.
little bit. Okay, this is where I sit, like this.
Okay, then I will hold it up right there
Okay.
and out.
Om Jnanatimandasya Janantana Slakaya Chakshu Militamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitamina Bhutale Swayam Ripa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Namo Mahavandanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gora Tavashe Namaha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. First of all, I'd like to offer my heartfelt Puspanjali to the root cause of all auspiciousness in my life. My Harinam Diksha Guru Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, our Prabhupada. Second of all, to my Bhajan Shiksha Guru, who keeps the auspiciousness flowing, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and a very loving friend and uncle, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. In the absence of the father and the older brother, then sometimes the uncle steps in a very, very wonderful way. And also to our entire Guru Parampara, and especially today to Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, Srila Sachinandan Gaurhari, Radha Gopinath Ji Ki Jai. So what an auspicious day. So first of all, I think it's appropriate that I try and say a few words about Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. Now to me, one of the most amazing things that really touches my heart, his whole life is a life of dedication to Sri Nam, as we know. And for the pleasure of his guru, Srila sorry, my mind isn't working so well today. Sachinandan Gaurhari. So his life was seva to Guru and Nam and all the Vaishnavas. And one of the most amazing examples that he gave us is how when one surrenders to Sri Guru and Sri Nam, Maya cannot touch you. Because Maya Devi herself, personified, came to test Srila Namacharya Haridas Thakur. And she has succeeded with so many other sadhus. She has succeeded with so many other personalities. But with Namacharya Haridas Thakur, she couldn't even make a little entrance. Nothing. He was so absorbed in Nam, so absorbed in the transcendental seva that he does in the spiritual world. I can't pretend to understand who he is in Radha Krishna Leela, except as an incarnation of Lord Brahma. I know he's over there in Barshana. Other than that, I'm not quite sure who he is, because he's also an incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. But anyhow, she came and she has the ability. We're so tiny and insignificant that she could easily conquer any of us. But Namacharya he had no interest, no attraction. He simply chanted and chanted. What was it, for 3 days? And finally she surrendered. She completely surrendered and she begged for Harinam from Haridas Thakur. And he gave her Harinam. And she was very, very happy. So this is the example he gives. If we take shelter of Sri Guru and Sri Nam, actually the stringent laws of material nature cannot touch us. Only thing that comes to us at that point then is what's coming from Sri Guru and Krishna. By their will, whatever comes in, if we actually surrender to bona fide Guru. Nothing, they are so much more powerful than Maya. And Maya is actually a servant of Sri Guru and Krishna. You know, she's also a spiritual energy of Krishna. Anyhow, Jai, that's all I'm going to say about Namacharya Haridas Thakur. I'm a little tired today, so sorry, it's hard for me to go on day after day. So also I'd like to offer a little heartfelt Puspanjali to the lotus feet of our beloved Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj, who, as we know, he was the epitome of selfless Guru Seva. His Sri Guru was everything to him, everything. No matter what his Guru asked him to do, he did it not only selflessly but affectionately, like this. And he never, ever wanted anything for himself. So it was completely selfless. No pratista, no material, I want my own mat, I want to be commander-in-chief of that mat. No, instead he would build the mats for everyone else, like this. That was his seva, building the mats, like this, construction. And he was always flowing with the purest Harikatha, like this. The flow of pure bhakti that was coming through him was exceptional. And that's why we, as he was saying, we felt a bit bereft, not just a bit, we felt extremely bereft when Srila Gurudev left. What to speak of after Srila Prabhupada left and Srila Guru, now we have like this. Because he was the source, a fountainhead of that pure Braj Bhakti that we were used to tasting. Now it's always there. It's not like Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada are not well in life, but they are. And we aren't always so qualified to dip into their flow of pure bhakti at the stage we're at. So he came before us in a form that we could actually see and we could actually hear, no matter who we were. Well, maybe some couldn't, but anyhow, most could actually take his association. And he, as Kishore Mohan was saying, he simply wanted to nourish us and inspire us. He never wanted to take us for his own. Never. He was a true embodiment of Akhanda Guru Tattva. Akhanda Guru Tattva Nitai is only trying to bring souls to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and make them qualified to be able to go back home, back to Braja Vrindavan and serve Radha and Krishna. So Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami, he took that service quite seriously. And he only stepped forward to take the position of, you might say, spiritual leader and finally as guru when the time was right. It wasn't that he was just biting at the bit to become the next spiritual acharya, please, I need my position. No, never. He was always encouraging everyone to take shelter of their guru. He never even asked who you are. He just, if you came, you're Vaishnava, I will nourish you. Like this. Chant Harinam, and his most important addition, you might say, not that Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev didn't say this, but he emphasized Bhakta Seva, Guru Vaishnava Seva, in a way that no one else had done. That was his speciality. And he was helping us understand that by Guru Vaishnav Seva, then we become qualified to chant Nam. You know, it's not so easy to chant what to speak Nam Abbas, what to speak of Sudanam, what to speak of Premanam. So to help us get out of the platform of aparad, you know, Nam Aparad, serve Guru and Vaishnava. And he spoke about this so much. And another thing in that category that at least I really appreciated was how he helped us understand who our family is in relation to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because, quite frankly, I mean, a lot of us were in ISKCON, we were only hearing that all of Prabhupada's godbrothers were, anyhow, I won't say, but anyhow, we're not someone that we wanted to associate with or serve. Let's put it that way. And he changed that. He helped us understand the followers of Bhaktisiddhanta in a way, in an unprecedented way, actually. He wrote his book, his book was compiled from his lectures, Our Beloved Master, My Beloved Masters. And so many of Prabhupada's godbrothers and Bhaktisiddhanta's disciples were described there. And it didn't matter how, quote, many temples they had or how big they were externally. He glorified them in such a way, even if it was just like they had one temple and they, like this. But he glorified their seva, the Bhaktisiddhanta, their pure seva, and their Harikatha. All their Harikatha was in line with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Pakka, like this. And so I was so happy to actually have my vision purified of the followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he also gave, in his interview to Mula Bakriti, 3 examples of how we can see the conflicts that go on between godbrothers. And this is, and god sisters, but mostly as godbrothers. But this is something that's difficult. No matter who our guru is, no matter where we are, these things come up. The conflicts between godbrothers. Even when our guru has a conflict with his godbrother, this is very difficult for the disciple. Even Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat says one has to be very careful. Don't take sides or you'll commit offense. Of course, one has to be loyal to one's guru, but still, one has to have the proper attitude to the godbrothers. So Bhakti-Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, he gave the example of Bhishma and Arjuna. You know, they're fighting against each other. Bhishma and Arjuna, but actually they loved each other so deeply. So deeply. Bhishma had raised the Pandavas when they lost their father. You know? And then later, when Bhishma is lying on the bed of arrows that Arjuna had shot into him, he would only take water, as we know, from Arjuna, like this. And he called Arjuna his Saka. Krishna is his Saka. You can give me Krishna. You can give me Krishna. Like this. So, what an example, Bhishma and Arjuna. Then he gave the example of a football team. You have 2 very intimate friends, and they're playing on different sides in the football game, right? Right. And they're trying to win. Actually, if you've seen a football game, they're actually trying to practically kill each other. It's a pretty rough game, you know, at least in America it is. So, but when the game is over, whoever lost, he'll say, oh, that was a good game, now you better take me out to lunch. Same with 2 lawyers. They're fighting against each other in a case, same thing. So he said we should understand more deeply, you know, what is actually happening here. And Prabhupada himself said in a purport in the Srimad Bhagavatam, I can't remember where, that actually all of his godbrothers were sincerely trying to serve Krishna and their spiritual masters, so we should honor respect to all of them. So this is a very great teaching that Srila Bhakti-Vigyan Bharati Goswami gave us, because this is not an easy thing. It's full of emotion, you know. So many devotees, they start actually hating other Vaishnavas. And Vaishnavas don't hate. We don't hate. So if there's hatred in our heart, that means we haven't understood things properly. So he was you could see, he was the epitome of affection for all. No envy, no hatred. I heard a story, pastime, that kind of exemplifies this. One time, I think it's in Chandigarh, but I'm not sure. And if you've heard the story, you can tell me if I'm not telling it right. But he was somewhere, and he had gone out to use, he didn't have a attached bathroom. So he'd gone out to use the bathroom. And when he came back to his room, his door was locked. He couldn't get into his room. So did he get angry? No. Did he do anything? No. He went into the temple room and simply sat and chanted. Until finally, someone unlocked the door. I don't know how many hours it took. Okay, the person who locked the door finally felt guilty because he wasn't being infected by it, so he finally unlocked the door. What? Yeah, they did it on purpose. Because there was also a lot of politics in their Sangha. Whenever you have a Sangha that is not full of all pure devotees, there's bound to be incidences. You see, like this, someone thinks, you're doing this to my guru and this and that, and there's all kinds of misconceptions come along in spiritual institutions. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has told us that. So we have to try and practice our pure bhakti, whether we're in an institution, not in an institution, still, we practice pure bhakti. We don't get affected by what's around us. And we see it as a test from Krishna, Guru and Krishna, isn't it? How am I going to follow Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarodapi Sui, Manina, Kirtaniyas in this situation? So he did. He sat down and chanted Hare Krishna. Very humble, very tolerant, not wanting any respect. Okay. What an example. I can't hear you. Yeah. So, and also, okay, it's time to stop. Yeah, okay. Let's see. So it's time to stop. So let's end on that. Let's see. Oh, one thing I did want to say is that Mullah Priti, in his interview, she also revealed that he said that Prabhupada had also asked him to help his disciples. So you can see he was waiting for the right time. And so at the right time, then he also stepped in and tried to fulfill that request of our Srila Prabhupada. I know myself, I always felt very safe with him because I had actually met him in the early 90s with Srila Gurudev. I was actually still in ISKCON, and I had met him in Puri with Srila Gurudev, and he was staying at his mat. What do you call it? Chaitanya Mat? Is that what you call it? Chaitanya Mat. And Gurudev was staying in Singania's guest house. And they would visit each other. And he was also staying with Krishna Keshava Prabhu. So Krishna Keshava Prabhu and Srila Bharati Maharaj would come and visit Srila Gurudev with so much love and affection and respect. They would pay their full dandavats. And then Gurudev would go and visit them and pay his full dandavats. And so I thought, wow. And then all along, during all those years, he was always coming for the Rupa Goswami conference, but at the right time, then he stepped forward. Okay, now it's time for me to nourish you and give some support. He never tried to say, why don't you come over to my mat? I'm giving Hari Katha too, Hare Krishna. Never. So, let's see, I think there was one more thing I wanted to say. Anyhow, I can't remember. Sorry. There was one more thing. How he was really the embodiment of Akhanda Guru Tattva. One time they celebrated Guru Purnima in Guru Gan. And I was fortunate enough to go. I don't remember what year that was. Only a few of us came from Vrindavan. Anita came from Manali, and I think Indira. I forget who else. We drove. Manjari was there. And they have a small little flat in Gurugram. and hardly any devotees. It was the middle of the week, and he was there, and Siddhanta Maharaj was starting to do the puja and everything, but it was maybe about 50 devotees. They were coming and going because it's Delhi and it's work time, and he was sitting there, and I had the most amazing experience. He kind of was able to show me internally how he isn't just I am the Guru, but he is the representative of Akunda Guru Tattva, and he has that quality and that power. And so at that time, I completely felt like my Srila Prabhupada was there, Srila Gurudev was there, and they were all being worshipped. I could not believe it, actually. I was just crying because I was just like, unbelievable how he was bringing the entire Guru Parampara. And one little last thing, how powerful are these devotees? That devotee had just gotten this flat. It was just being painted. He had nothing. They couldn't even cook any prasadam. So they had to buy food from outside. God knows where they got it from. It was full of chilies. But Srila Bharati Maharaj accepted that. And Anita was there with a Gaurnitai. He offered it to her Gaurnitai, and he offered us Mahaprasad. He transformed that into Mahaprasad. Powerful, very powerful. Jai, Vanchakalpati Vishak, Kripa Sindhu Vita, Atidanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Let me get this.
Oh, where you go?
She diksha from someone else, sorry. And so on this day I offer my millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Haridas Thakur. Because of him, if we were just striving to attain what Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami came to give, it's so high, it's so way beyond us. But Srila Haridas Thakur really demonstrated the perfection of that midway point of Nishta. Gurudev would use him so again and again as an example who, despite being beaten in 22 marketplaces, never wavered from his chanting of the holy name. So it gives us we can try to be like that. We also, of course, try to be like Raghunath Das Goswami, no doubt. But this is like a closer goal, to at least be steady under all circumstances in our chanting of the holy name. So yesterday, Kishore Mohan Prabhu commented somewhere in his Harikatha on that when Srila Bharati Maharaj would enter an assembly, because of his gurutva, his quality of being guru, when he sat, it was powerful. It had an effect, and I was really inspired by that contemplation because it wasn't like that gurutva contains heaviness or harshness or any external power. What drives it is the softest, sweetest moods of the heart of dedication to his own guru. And because of that, when he sits, when he's, so I was thinking, what is behind that? Like, he's not just the jewel in the assembly, although he's definitely, when he came into the assembly, like Gurudev, he was the shining jewel in the assembly. But more than that, we can think, oh, he's elderly, and look at his, features like that, or, he couldn't walk so well. But what was it? What was it? What was behind that beautiful, subtle Vaishnava appearance? His soft, deep, soulful eyes, that were more childlike than any child. Any child, anywhere, you see any picture of Srila Bharati Maharaj, and his eyes are the softest, sweetest, his face was the softest, sweetest expression you could ever see. What was behind that? What was behind this elderly gentleman who spoke in Bengali or Hindi and spoke only a little English to us toward the end, although he was quite fluent. What was behind so many senior devotees who've been practicing for many years being drawn to him? And what was behind this, this amazing phenomena that I observed at the time of Srila Bharati Maharaj, because we were starting to go to him after Gurudev left, but he never really stepped into initiating until just a few years before he left this world. And so therefore many people all over the world who never got to meet him, they never actually got to come before him and touch his feet, hear from his lotus lips directly. They got Harinam Diksha on the phone. And I personally, and yet they were full of exuberance and enthusiasm. And they had understandings of sadhu sangha from a phone initiation that were deeper and more profound than people who'd been chanting for 40 years without that contact. That simple little, like hearing the holy name or the Diksha mantras from his lotus lips transformed their hearts to such a degree. And I often tell the story because it moves me so much of one devotee. She was on her way to India she'd received Harinam from him on Skype. And she was on her way to India to actually meet him. And her flight was for the 15th of September. And he left this world on the 13th. And her whole life was thrown up in the air. And she anyway came. She was going to cancel, but anyway she came. And I remember Tungavidya, at that time he still had his room all set up here. And at that time Tungavidya Didi allowed her to clean his room. And she was really sickly. She wasn't a strong person. But she went in there for 3 hours and she cleaned. And I remember seeing her when she came out. And this is why I'm emotional, because it was just like she had direct darshan, the way we would feel when we had that direct darshan with Gurudev, that otherworldly bliss that comes into the heart. Just doing that seva for him, she was shining, she was effulgent. And I just thought how potent he is, how potent, even though he wasn't, so personable. I remember I met him, spent time with him in 2011 in Puri, and when I saw him a few months later, and I had darshans with him one-on-one, but when I saw him a few months later, it was like he'd never seen me before. And actually what it did for me, I really loved it. I thought, here's someone who doesn't want me to be their follower. He's not after me in trying to get me to worship him in any way. So what was behind us is this quality of being really Sadguru. What is it? Tasmad Guru Prabhajya Chikisesha. Shabde Pade Chanishnatam Brahmanu Pashamashram. He was fully established in the conclusions of Shastra and in the absolute truth, and he had absolutely no interest in this material world. Finished. In the 2010 edition of Rays of the Harmonist, Srila Bhavan Goswami Maharaj wrote there's an editorial there that was extracted from him, and he's saying that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he cannot tolerate rasabas, he cannot tolerate Vayapasiddhanta, and he cannot tolerate Maryada Ullangan, the transgression of Vaishnava etiquette. And the true followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are perfect in these things. You'll never see this. And Srila Bhavan Goswami Maharaj emphasized, he said, all our devotional emotions, words and actions must be substantiated by Siddhanta. This is the true line of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, otherwise it's sentiment. There can never be any antithetical apasiddhant, any rasabas, and any maryad ullangan in them. Sorry, antithetical philosophical conclusions, which is apasiddhant. in them. So we saw this with Srila Bharati Maharaj. I remember looking at him once thinking, the Vaishnava is just perfect. Perfect. You know, the way he was, the way he walked, the way he talked, the way he did everything, because he was so established in that Gurutva. So when he sat in an assembly, it was so attractive and so powerful, because he wasn't just someone who was expert in speaking sweet katha. It wasn't just lip service. He was fixed in service to his Gurudev and in the line of Srila Saraswati Thakur. So, Srila, our Param Gurudev, Shriti Lila Pravishtaram Vishnupad Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he says that a Vaishnav should be honoured, identified and honoured on the basis of his Vaishnavata. Not on the terms of the qualities, external qualities we see, how kind he is, how sweet he is, how, you know, they're nice, and he says they're important. It's important to appreciate them. But really what makes him a Vaishnava is this exclusive surrender to Krishna, Krishneka Sharan. There's not an iota in his being that goes in any direction but the lotus feet of his Gurudev, all the way up to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And when you are in the presence of somebody like that, like in 2008, I mentioned this the other day, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, I can't remember where. In 2008 in New Zealand, one devotee asked Srila Gurudev, how is it possible for a condition, he was not initiated, this boy. He said, is it possible for a conditioned soul to recognize a pure devotee? And Gurudev said, no, it's not possible, but by the mercy of that devotee, some understanding can come in the heart. So we can see that there's so many mature devotees of Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. They were drawn to Srila Bharati Maharaj because they saw that same quality as exclusive surrender. It's same in the inside, same on the outside in him. So on this very sad day, it was a very big shock for us all, I think, when he left this world. I felt super prematurely. I offer my humble obeisances at his lotus feet and pray that he always give me protection. I just wanted to say one more thing, quick. In the shloka, Young Brahvajantam, the last line is Tam Sarvabhutam Hridayam Munimanantosmi. That Shukadev Goswami can enter the hearts of all. And I personally had this experience with Srila Bharati Maharaj, that he somehow, even despite all my anatas, all my aparads, all my disinterest in bhakti, all of my, and not even inviting him into my heart, didn't even enter, somehow or other, just as Gurudev did, he found his way into my heart anyway. And my nishta in him is because who can do that? You know, who can do that? With some hard-hearted person like me, who can do that? So this is testimony to, for me, it's all individual, to his extraordinary uttam nature.
And opening your heart in terms of how Srila Bhakti-Vigam Bharati Maharaj somehow was able to enter there. When Bhajanti Maladidi was speaking, I was remembering when Srila Bhakti-Vigam Bharati Maharaj came here, some arrangement was made in advance. And we actually took part in helping to arrange for that, but it so happened that it was delayed, and we happened to go to Govardhan for one day. We were planning on going there for the remainder of Kartik, and it was our Srila Prabhupada's day. And the person who was speaking was making an endeavor to glorify Srila Prabhupada, but somehow felt that it was also glorification to kind of denigrate some of the way that Prabhupada's disciples were behaving or misbehaving, and also adding some conjecture to what they could have done, even though they didn't. And I stormed out of there saying, this is not a glorification of Srila Prabhupada. We had only stayed one night and we decided we're coming back. We came back, and that was the day Srila Bharati Maharaj was actually going to be coming here. And I thought, how interesting. We stormed out of what we felt was aparad to our Srila Prabhupada, from a situation that was uncomfortable in terms of Vaishnava etiquette. And then we came to where a real Vaishnava was going to come and saturate our hearts. And they said he's coming in half an hour. So we were doing kirtan. There was only 10 devotees. We're doing kirtan, and then 15 and 20. Another hour went by, another hour, 30, 40. And then when he came, from out of nowhere, it was like this temple room was packed. Like at the time Gurudev would come. And I just remember when Srila Bharati Maharaj would sit down, because you mentioned that, it was like we were all forced to sit at his feet, and he didn't tell us to. We just knew we had to sit at his feet. And it wasn't just the juniors, or it was gurus and acharyas of different institutions. Everyone would sit at his feet. Whether they wanted to or not, still, it was the right thing to do. But anyhow, his conviction in the lotus feet of his Gurudev, that kind of dedication caused us to fall at his feet. And I think this is the meaning of the word Vishnupad, who is carrying Krishna within their heart. Wherever they go, you take shelter at their feet. And he had that effect. I just felt it was like the ceiling was up in the air with excitement, and when he sat down, he sat down and the whole world sat down with him. So next I would like to call Sudevi Didi. She went that way. Okay.
Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shri Mad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So because it seems that everybody is starting with Srila Haridas Thakur, I was listening once to Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, and he was speaking about Haridas Thakur. And he was talking about how he was beaten in 22 marketplaces. He said even one marketplace, like if you were whipped and beaten through Loi Bazaar, could we even make it halfway? 22 marketplaces. And people were begging them to not beat him. They were, please don't do this. We'll give you money. We'll give you anything. Please stop. But they continued to mercilessly beat Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, the embodiment of humility, was looking at them with compassion. And then he said, only a Vaishnava can do this. And then he mentioned Lord Jesus Christ, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, and he said, when he was on the cross, he said, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. He said, this is Vaishnava. And then he said, and Haridas Thakur was looking at them, and they were shocked. They're beating him, and they're like, why is he looking at me like this? With so much compassion. He was praying for them. Forgive them. They're only doing their duty. What can they do? Finally, after 22 marketplaces, they were becoming tired. And they asked him, please just die. If you don't die, then we will be killed. So please. He said, oh, you want me to die? Then just see how I die. And then he fainted, and it seemed as though he was dead. And the Muslim leader said, he did not behave like a Muslim, so he cannot be buried. Throw him in the Ganga. So auspicious. So they threw him in the Ganga, and he was floating down the Ganga, continuously chanting. And when he arrived on the other side, he again continued his Nam, Harinam. But Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said, when these two saw how Haridas Thakur was giving like his mercy, they asked for forgiveness, and Haridas Thakur said, yes, I forgive you. He took no personal account of it. Yes, you're forgiven. And Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said, and yet Vrindavan Das Thakur says they went to hell. So he said, how is this? We always hear that we have to go to that person whom we've offended, beg their forgiveness, and then we're relieved. He said, but it is not the case, because they don't take any offense. So of course they're already forgiving you. He said, but Krishna in his heart, Krishna on his tongue, he took offense. And he said, so they had to go to hell. He said, how do you then get out of aparad? He said, you will have to go to that personality you have offended and again receive Krishna from them in the form of Hari Katha. Because only when their hearts are melted will they give you Krishna like that. Gurudev used to say, he said, my calves should sit close and in front, because then like a motherly cow, milk will flow. So he wanted those senior Vaishnavas circulating him, like around him, so that milk would flow and all of the other ones would get little droplets because of that mercy. Just drinking from Gurudev, he would flow. So then you know you've been forgiven when you have received Hari Katha. It means Krishna has again been given.
How do you melt their heart so that they will again?
By serving, by repenting, by weeping, by showing that my nature is changed. I realize I've done wrong. Now I'm begging you, in any way, let me serve you. Let me serve your servants. Let me do anything to show you my heart is sincere. So speaking of Hari Katha, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, when we would sit down and be doing kirtan before he would speak, I noticed that he would take the opportunity to look at every single person. It's like he wanted to be aware, and for you to know, I'm aware you're here. Like sometimes Gurudev would be speaking and he would say, oh, where is such and such? Where is this devotee? You know, or someone would come in and he would say, I was thinking of you. Now come, sit down. They know who's there. But Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, he would look at each one of us, and he somewhat hung his head down, but his eyes would be up, and he would be looking at every single person. And I thought, how personable that is. I've sat in many different lectures and Harikathas, and I know that sometimes I'm completely and thoroughly passed over, and rightfully so. I'll be the first, yes, of course, don't look at me. But he would look at every one of us, and I thought, how beautiful. I felt that he was letting me know, I know you've come. And then when he would finish giving Hari Katha, because he was also the embodiment of humility, he would say, I used to do so much service for all of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I used to serve them personally, and I used to serve my Gurudev in every way. But now I'm so old. I'm 90 years old. I can barely walk. I can't do anything. All I can do is give Hari Katha. All I can do is tell you all of these beautiful details of Vaishnavas, of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. And then he would say, so I'm indebted to you. You have given me this seva. And for me it was shocking, because this was after the time our Gurudev, very recently, he left our manifest vision. And before he was even put into the Samadhi pit, there were those who were giving initiation on their own behalf. As soon as Gurudev was in Samadhi, people were calling us, let's start a group and travel and preach together. And it was just like a free-for-all. All of a sudden I looked around and everyone was now Gurudev. And it was like we were thrown to the side, and where do we turn? Where do we go? Where do I go? And I remember being up in Gopinath Bhavan across from Srila Gurudev's room, and I was wailing, like an uncontrollable wailing. And I was crying for my Gurudev, the one with blue eyes, the one who would pick his fingers when he was listening or watching something. He was so charming in everything he did, and I wanted that Gurudev of my heart to show himself to me. I need you. What will I do now? So I was crying, practically screaming, and being across from his room intensified that. And all of a sudden, this beautiful face, but not my Gurudev, came into my heart, in my vision. And I didn't know his name. I remembered seeing him in Mayapur. He was sitting on a stage with Gurudev, and there were it was a huge stage, and maybe 50 sannyasis and brahmacharis surrounding them. But two personalities were sitting there, and they were glowing, vibrating differently. One was Gurudev, and one was Srila Bharati Maharaj, but I didn't know him. I just saw him, and I was like, there is like an electric current surrounding those two. So in this mass of 20,000 people, I found Kishori Mohan Prabhu. The Bengalis were quite short, so oh, there he is. And so I ran to him. I said, I don't know who that personality is. Whatever money you have, give it to him, and let's touch his feet. And I had not felt like that for anyone other than Gurudev since 1996. No mood to just touch someone's feet other than Gurudev came to my heart. So we got in line and we waited and we touched his feet. Kishori gave him our donation. But I didn't know his name, and I had forgotten about him, Dandavats Maharajji, because I was satisfied. Gurudev was there. I didn't think of anything else. But he was the personality that I was seeing while I was wailing for my Gurudev. And so I ran around and asking everybody, do you know who he is? Do you know who this personality is? And one devotee said, wait a minute. They got a picture and they showed it to me. They said, is this him? I said, yes. Who is he? The devotee said, oh, that's Bharati Maharaj. And so then I knew somehow or other Gurudev was telling me, you will be safe. You'll be safe here. And so we went to him. And when we went to him, we saw the most astonishing thing. We were engaged in serving Srila Gurudev more personal, like physically, in the last 3 months he was present here. And so we were very intimate with all of the sevaks of Gurudev. And there at Srila Bharati Maharaj's feet, we saw Madhav Priya Prabhu, Sadanti Maharaj, Sanjay, Navneet Prabhu. And we saw so many of those persons there with Srila Bharati Maharaj. And then when we came out and we saw the assembly, there were all of the people that we've trusted since practically our birth. Shamarani Didi, Vrindavan Vilasini Didi, we saw Vaijanti Mala Didi, we saw Vichitra, we saw all of these Vaishnavas sitting at his feet, and we thought, we're safe. We're safe. Because all of these people equally love Gurudev and Prabhupada, because that was a condition. Wherever we go, they don't have, it's not just accept, they have to have some affection for those two Vaishnavas. And we saw, oh, if all of them are here too, we're in a safe place. So we began to hear from Srila Maharaj. And because today is the day of Haridas Thakur as well, I was meditating somewhat on the humility of these two Vaishnavas. Srila Bhaktivigyan Bharati Maharaj did not perform his Acharya Leela until he was 90 years old. It wasn't after his Gurudev left, he didn't rush to try to get disciples' name and fame, to take any place of anything. Why did he accept that position? Because those who were surrendering to him were being offended by his God brothers and God family. And he said, I cannot digest this. I can't remain in this place where those devotees who have taken shelter of me are being mistreated in such a way. And then he realized, now that they've come to me, I must openly give them my shelter. And that is when he began openly giving Harinam and Diksha, but it was only after he had been pushed to that extent. We know that he gave a little bit here and there very quietly, but at 90 years old, and that also was another revelation for me. It's not, the king is dead, now God bless the king. It's the new king. Guru Dev is gone, now bless the new guru. It wasn't like that. He did it out of necessity. And it was that he was self-effulgent. We hear that acharyas are self-effulgent. They can't be appointed. That's why in our Guru Varg regularly, we understand they don't appoint a successor. It will be self-manifest. Srila Bhaktivigyan Bharati Maharaj, it was just a known. Even if you were from other places, when you knew he was there, everybody would come and sit at his feet. And like Kishori Mahaprabhu said, even all the gurus, those of acharyas of other maths, they would come and sit at his feet. It was that he was self-effulgent. But his humility, the one last thing I want to say that was so heart-touching for me, was that there were times after he was giving Harikatha, not even after, he was still giving Harikatha, but his body couldn't continue on. And so Madhav Priya Prabhu would be taking him to his room, and he would still be speaking. He would still be speaking Harikatha. He couldn't stop. But I noticed that two things that he would do. He always would give Mahaprasadam. He would never give Harikatha without in the end giving some sweetness, some contact with him. And Shamarani Didi once acknowledged that, Maharaj, when you give everyone the Mahaprasad, he would give it in a heavy way, not just put it on your hand. He would make you feel it, and he would look at you very directly. She said, what are you doing when you do this? Because, it's not like just handing someone something. He was giving. And what did he say? I'm trying to give them bhakti. Whatever capacity I have, I'm trying to give that in that direct moment. Wow. And then when he was so tired after giving Harikatha, or even he wouldn't be able to give Harikatha, so they would say, we will allow you to come into his room for one moment. He would be laying on his bed under a mosquito net with his hands sticking out. And Madhav Priya Prabhu or Sananti Maharaj, anybody would put Mahaprasad in his hand, and at that time we would just take it from his hand, but his hand would be out, and he would just be looking at us with those childlike, innocent, compassionate, beautiful glances. And I just feel so grateful that he revealed something of himself, that Gurudev I was open enough and honest enough, at least in one moment of desperation, that I was able to receive that message and know where to go. And I'm grateful for my seniors, like Vrindavan Vilasini Didi, Vichitra Didi, Shashikala Didi, Vaijanti Mala, those personalities that we have witnessed, some within ISKCON and some continuing to Gurudev and also from Gurudev, how they have so much attachment to our Gurudev that they were also able to recognize. And because of that, it gave me a firm nishta that I am in the right place, because my seniors, they're helping me. Even just by their actions, I'm able to see what to do, where to go, how I can find my sustenance. So not only that Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivigyan Bharati Maharaj, but also my senior God family. Thank you for giving me that vision and that kind of understanding that I was able to go and find sustenance at a time when I felt completely bereft. So he put my heart, in a sense, not back together, I would say, but he made it so that I was able to accept some kind of mercy when I felt that that pot had completely shattered. So on this day, I'm begging him to show me and reveal to me those Vaishnavas always and continuously who can drag me into the realm of pure Harikatha and pure Vaishnava association, because I'm so dense. So Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyashta Kripa Sinyudevacha Patitanam Pavani.
Beautiful and powerful moments. Srila Bhakti Bharati Goswami Maharaj, Sudevi mentioned how he was so absorbed in Vaishnava Seva. And he would often quote this one verse, Jai Vaishnava Sevile, Achintya Krishna Pai. That if you want the mercy of Krishna, you can attain and receive the mercy of that inconceivable personality by the medium of serving Krishna's pure devotees, the Vaishnavas. So he himself practiced it diligently, and by seeing his character and his practice, like little children who were like, right, this is what you're supposed to do. He did not waver from it one bit. He practiced it, he followed through, and he understood this is how one will attain the mercy of Krishna. And he preached it again and again and again. Not by our education, not by how much we already have known, not by how much we study, or even all of the other activities that we do on the path of bhakti, but by the mercy of Vaishnavas. That is how we will be able to progress. Yeah. So, next, I would like to request Maharaj Ji. Yes? Please come forward and offer your Shraddha Pushpanjali in the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Bharati Maharaj and Haridas Thakur. And for those of you who are interested, I think it is important because now there are more devotees. It certainly will not be enough time before Aarti, so we should also do a program this evening. You need to come here because the mic doesn't stretch. So we'll have to make accommodation for that this evening. So for all of you who are interested, we will continue this afternoon. Bhajans, I always start bhajans at 4, so we have enough time to discuss. So from at least 5:15, we will begin the glorifications or continue the glorifications.
Om Ajnanatimmarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunimitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Guru Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadal Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhueva cha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam to my Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and all our Acharya in the line of Gauriya Sampradaya. And the assembly, my God brothers and God sister, please bless me that I can glorify the Vaishnava. The word of Vaishnava means is a very higher topic than Krishna. Krishna Tattva is very easy to understand, but Vaishnav Tattva is very difficult to understand. So, Vaishnav, Only the word Vaishnava, that is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada said, Kishera Vaishnava. That's the meaning. That is I saw here in my Gurudev, and I saw later on Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj. Because when Gurudev left this world, that time we are very separation. And where to go, and where to association, to whom association, we are like unbalanced. Then I saw Srila Bhakti Kamala Govind Maharaj, and he saw me, he said me, you should do Harikatha listen and do chanting and read your Gurudev books. You will be get your Gurudev association always. This way I'm getting association by him. But when I was in Mayapur with my South Indian devotee, I went to see Srila Maharaj in opposite of Gopinath Gauriammat. There is small building and Maharaj room is there. I said, Maharaj, please bless me that I can uh, do Bhumi Puja in South India. Then Maharaj said, your blessing is already there, that's why you are doing. Your blessing is there, your Gurudev is there, that's why you are doing. Otherwise, how can you do without Guru? You don't think you are doing, think Gurudev is doing. That time Maharaj said, please bless me that I can do preaching of Mahaprabhu and my Gurudev and you. Then Maharaj said, see, I am depend of Srila Narayan Maharaj's disciple. I am depend on them. They are very kind and merciful to me. I am very lucky that Srila Narayan Maharaj's disciples taking care of me. Otherwise, where should I go and where to whom go? I don't know myself also. This is a word Srila Maharaj said me in there, in Mayapur Parikrama time. Because I left my temple. Last in many years I did so many project work, so many hard work. He said about that he worked about books also. Chaitanya Bhagavat, he said name that book Chaitanya Bhagavat. He worked in that books also. And he built so many temple also. But now I'm alone. I don't have myself any mud. So how can I bless you to build mud? So like this Maharaj telling me. So I'm very lucky that Srila Narayan Maharaj's disciples are supporting me, helping me, looking me. Otherwise, where is my disciple? Who is my disciple? All Narayan Maharaj's disciple looking me. That word makes me, very emotional. Because the word what he is saying, I feel also sometime like that. When I came out from Rup Sanatan Gauriammat. Any reason, but I came out. That time I feel alone. No one is supporting, no one is helping, no one is calling me, no one touching me. That the word touch me, similar things. That's I feel no. Yes, Gurudev said, whenever you chant the Gayatri of Guru Gayatri, I will be there. That the word of my Gurudev. I always, whenever I get any problem or any kind of, I need guidance, then oh Gurudev, I never did so much long association with you. But when I do Gayatri Japa, then Guru Kripa, I'm getting some buddhi, viveka, knowledge, guidance. Same way, Maharaj also. Because when I was preaching in Punjab and Madhya Pradesh, South India, in Bangalore, then Mother Priya Prabhu brings Maharaj in Bangalore. Then I was there for Maharaj's house program and some. Then Mother Priya Prabhu and one more Prabhu. No, not Sanjay. He is also Sundar Gopal Prabhu. And few more devotee. I mean tall, he is a height. So Maharaj used to come and giving lecture. And one day Maharaj asked me, have you understand about the Gaur? I said, Maharaj, I know Gauranga Mahaprabhu, but I can't understand the meaning of the Gaur. Then Maharaj said, okay, today we will discuss in lecture in that topic. But there are all South Indian language problem, many. Few understanding English and few don't want understanding Hindi also, English also. But someone is translating. But somehow the topic going on, Maharaj stopped the lecture and said, not getting taste. If I speaking, the continue I should speak. Then taste will come. And you are translating those people, they are understanding or not understanding like this. Maharaj stop this lecture in there. Then he start normal lecture, giving like Prahlad Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, and glories of Ekadasi. But he used to call us afternoon time. Come, discuss on Tattva. Maharaj, in there also in net, inside the net, mosquito net inside, and he discussing. Then I was late to reach there. Then Maharaj said, why you came late? Topics already half past. Like this, so many. But yes, we are very lucky. Lucky, so much lucky actually. We should be proud in our parampara. We should proud in our parampara. We should don't go anywhere. People are going here and there. They are foolish. Please don't mind. They are rascal. Please don't mind. But this is fact. Our Guru parampara so wonderful. Their teaching. Few days before, I was giving class in MBT. In there, few ISKCON proper disciples who following our Gurudev. There are many devotees are there, but they are not showing. So discussing, and that time I said, Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, he given us foundation. Without his foundation, no one can go in West country. But he is not only given the foundation to go West country, he given the foundation of bhakti. He given the foundation of bhakti, which my Gurudev came and given the shelter of what he said, this roof, that we can, all the family of Gaudiya, we can sit one place and hear about Srimati Radharani. What is Radharani in the line of the Gaudiya Sampradaya? No one described before. Even it described but not openly. My Gurudev has explained so clearly what is our mood. Many of ISKCON devotees, they went to Srila Pramod Puri Maharaj, complain of our Gurudev. that Srila Narayan Maharaj only speaking Gopis Bhav, Radha Bhav, Manjari Bhav, please stop him to speak those things. I know the name because bidding them one of directly told me also. Then Srila Pramod Puri Maharaj said, what is his position? In that you will reach after many years, many births. What he is, you don't know. So who I am to stop him? That word is very important. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Bhavan Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj, and our Gurudev, they are not different, they are the same. Although I don't have so much association with him, so that's why I can't say about glory so many things, pastime of Srila Maharaj. But yes, whatever I did, what I understand with him, that is I try to explaining you. What is that? Maharaj said in Navadip Parikrama, evening time, he said, Radhanath, you should don't forget that Mahaprabhu taste. And what is the taste? Chant the holy name and give the holy name. And remember, whoever come in your temple without prasad, don't give them go.
Don't let them go.
Ah,
Don't let them leave.
yes. This word, it teach me personally. Madhapriya Prabhu and many Sanjay Prabhu also, many devotees are there. So anyhow, time is over. So Pancha kalpatarubhyasa kripa sindhu evacha patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavbhyo namo namaha. I'm sorry, my dear God brother and God sister.
Thank you, Maharaj, for sharing your conviction. Something Maharaj said that really struck me, because he was speaking about his complete dependence on Krishna, and that actually it was the disciples of Gurudev that just came and started taking care of him. And this is one testament to the fact that he is completely surrendered to Krishna. Right? Even the basic definition of Shraddha is that Shraddha Shabde Vishwash Kohe Sudrida Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarvakarma Krita Hoy. When Maharaj was telling this, I remembered something. The day after we saw him the first time in Mayapur, when he was sitting next to Gurudev, we were doing kirtan, and Gurudev wanted a ladies' kirtan party. Well, Sudevi was leading a lot of the kirtan, and she's like, well, I want a good drummer. She ordered her husband to play mridanga. So I was playing mridanga while going on this, I think we were going to Nrishingapalli. And I was playing and I was exhausted, but anyhow, there was this white car that was coming to the side, and they were just beeping their horn again and again, trying to move the Bengali devotees out of the road. And so then they started to go, and just in that moment, one elderly lady, maybe her hearing was not so good, she went in front of the car, and they slammed on the brakes. I cannot tell you any other way than this. I'm playing mridanga, and my arm goes in through the open window of that car and catches whoever is flying forward. My arm was controlled. I didn't do it. And I looked, and it was Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj going forward in the car. And I caught him in the chest, so he didn't fly forward. And then I just looked at him, and he looked at me, and I said, okay. And he said, okay. And then I continued doing the kirtan. And right there was another proof, very clear proof, that he wasn't worried or concerned for anything for himself, that Krishna was utilizing any medium to look after him. And it was my arm at that moment catching him from flying forward. So I just wanted to share that with you, because that was you said touching, my first experience, second, I touched his feet, but then somehow I caught his chest as he was flying forward, but really I think he was catching my heart at that moment. So next I'd like to call Vichitra Didi to please come forward. Offer your Shraddha Pushpanjali, the lotus feet, Srila Bharati Maharaj.
What time does it start?
12:30. So, depending on how long.
Namam Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmine Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Narayan Iti Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sadakshan Audarya Madhuri Vinay Strutam Varam Vedana Purushamantan Narayanam Twam Shirishanamami. I offer my pranam again and again to our beloved Srila Gurudev Om Vishnupad Nityalila Pravishtam Astotra Shri Shrimat Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and our whole glorious Guru Parampara. Our Gurudev was very beloved to so many Vaishnavas, and I personally witnessed how Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj just loved our Gurudev. He always wanted to be with him any chance he got. And Gurudev would go to Jagannath Puri every winter, and he'd say, all right, nobody should come, you all stay here. So I had already lived in Puri a few years, and Gurudev couldn't keep me away, I just had to go to Puri. So I'd go and I'd be with Gurudev there, and I'd go to Singania's house. So at that time, maybe it was 1994 that I met Srila Bharati Maharaj there at Singania's house. And he would come practically every day to see Gurudev. And I'd be sitting on the floor, and he'd come and stand over me. And one time, maybe it was a teacher with me, we were sitting taking prasad, and Jagannath Mahaprasad on the floor, and these Vaishnavas had already honored the prasad. So he's standing over us and he says, in English, perfect English, that cow who gives milk, who is not allowed to feed her calf first, and the milk is taken from her by force, that milk causes heart disease. So I was just amazed that he chose to tell this. It's like 30 years later, I still remember. And he was always very kind to me there, and because he saw that Gurudev gave me some special attention in Puri every winter, and I'd be there every winter. Gurudev couldn't keep me away. That he was always favorably disposed towards me, and I got his remnants so many times. After Srila Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Maharaj, also I met him at that time. He came and took Mahaprasad, Jagannath Mahaprasad, and I got the remnants of both of them. And so Srila Bharati Maharaj, he remembered me, and he'd see me in Navadvip. He'd always be kind to me, ask me, is Gurudev here? And I'd say yes. And we'd go to Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math for Navadvip Parikram, and Gurudev would sit on the platform with him. And so it's interesting that he chose this day to leave the world on the same day that Haridas Thakur did. And as somebody just said, Haridas Thakur, of course, is noted for his humility, just completely beyond all human ability. And Srila Bharati Maharaj also is extremely noted for his humility, and because of this, he wanted to join Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur is so kind. It was the king of the area, the governor, who sent that prostitute to Haridas Thakur. So she was there, just trying to charm him and assuming all kinds of poses and trying to provoke him. But she couldn't budge him. Finally, after 3 days, she broke down. She saw, well, this guy is beyond my ability. to entice. He's completely beyond. I've never seen this before. So then she fell at his feet, and he said to her, yes, I knew you were coming. I was going to leave. I had other plans to go to another place, but I've delayed my journey because I wanted to come here and deliver you. So, such is the power of Srila Haridas Thakur. Completely astonishing. It wasn't that, it was like Harinam had taken over his whole consciousness. It completely invaded him and controlled his tongue, controlled his everything. So he couldn't stop chanting if he wanted to. So the Muslims were devastated. It's like, oh my God, this guy's is just ruining our whole mission. We've got to get rid of him. We're going to show this guy a lesson. He's going to shut up. Well, no way. It didn't matter what they did to him. They beat him in public in 22 marketplaces. Who could survive this? One time they just made him raw, bleeding and open wounds. Then they threw him in the Ganga. So then he floated down the Ganga, maybe some 100 meters away, came out of the Ganga, completely recovered, just in complete health, smiling and chanting. And it's like, the Muslims saw this and they go, all right, he's not any ordinary person. They were convinced he's a saint, actually. And then they had to leave him alone. And so elevated that he never wished them ill. He was always praying for their welfare, that they could develop some ecumenical vision and appreciate any genuine expression of people wanting to serve the Lord. So this was his always sending them good wishes, and completely extraordinary. So Haridas Thakur should kindly give us a few blessings today for these fallen jeeves, because somehow struggling, just keep it going, and we will be successful, just because we have the mercy of our Parampara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chose this line to spread these teachings around the world. It's not by chance at all that our Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then our Gurudev went to the West, and here we are in Brajdan now, so many years later. So it's all very extraordinary, and we pray to all of them. So Srila Bharati Maharaj was also so amazing. So many people, our Gurudev had left this world, so many people were coming to him, wanted initiation, and he said, I can't, Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj is the Acharya for my mission, and you can take Diksha from him. I assure you, he and I are non-different. He is nothing less, certainly not more. You will not be disappointed. You will not be shortchanged. You take from him, and he would send people. But then Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj went into Samadhi. How many years was he in Samadhi before he left this world? He couldn't function. So Srila Bharati Maharaj was forced to start initiating. It wasn't like his desire, but it was the circumstances demanded. So all glories to him. He had to leave his mission. It wasn't that he wanted to be faithful to the end. And we should get some of his good qualities. Okay, I'll finish here. Vanchakalpa Chivastra, Pipa Sindhyeva Cha, Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavi.
Thank you. Thank you, Vichitra Didi. So, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, he was completely beautiful, completely merciful, and he's going to give us another opportunity to glorify him this afternoon, starting at 4 o'clock. Srila Bharati Maharaj said about Haridas Thakur that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would first bathe in the ocean, and then he would come to see Haridas Thakur, so that people wouldn't think that he was seeing Haridas Thakur and then bathing afterward. Because to be with the Vaishnava is more than bathing in millions of Gangas. So, now we will do Arti, yes, Guru Puja for Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, followed by Arti for Thakurji. Okay. Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Tadiya Tirabha Maha Mahotsav ki jai, Shri Haridas Thakur Namacharya ki jai, Tadiya Tirabha Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Jaya Guru Deva, Jai Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jai Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jai Guru Deva, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharati Goswami, Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharati Goswami, Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharati Goswami, Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharati, Jaya Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharati Goswami, Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharati Goswami, Bhakti Vigyan. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Vandamoi Savasana Mate Vandamoi Savasana Jahar prasade bhai Vibhava turiya jai Krishna bhakti ho jaha Guru Paramato Chitte Koriya Yo Guru Paramato Chitte Koriya Yo Yana Guri Bhavane Asha Shri Guru Charane Ese Guru Shri Guru Jai Prasade Pure Sarvo Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarvo Asha Prema bhakti jaha ke amitya vinasha jate Vede gai jaha charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Bhava Gopinath Luke Rangi Mano Se hamare bhador chaya Sila Guru Gopinath Jai Bhakti Jnani Bharati Goswami Bhakti Jnani Bharati Goswami Jai Prabhupada Jaldi come forward, offer your flowers, jaldi karo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare. Maybe this afternoon. If you're okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Shri Shanandana Gaur Hari ki jai. Want to take the mic? It doesn't do any good with the whompers. It makes it pretty bad. Oh, here you go. Oh, you got it? Okay.
यशोमती नंदना ब्रजवरनागर गोकुला रंजन कान यशोमती जसवती नंदन जय गोकुल Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavaro Bhakti Vinodaya Traya Bhakti Vinodaya
गुरु बिहारी राधा गोपीनाथ श्री श्री गौर सुंदर भगवान की जय। श्री श्री नित्य लीला आज को सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला विष्णु विष्णु परमानंद आचार्य आज को सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला विष्णु विष्णु परमानंद आचार्य आज को सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति
महाप्रसाद की जय। की जय। राधे राधे।